they come up. And if I can't answer them, I will try to bring them to Kirk's attention. So with that, Kirk, I'll hand it to you.
Great, thanks, Corinne. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate the large interest in today's session. Hopefully we don't disappoint. We are giving an idea. I've started in this role a couple of weeks ago now, and it was brought out of industry's want for someone to be that point person, I guess, to help navigate what's available out there, spurred on, of course, by COVID. A lot of people not understanding the programs, trying to figure them out, that sort of thing. The mission today is really just to give an overview. What I've found in the initial stages of this position is that a lot of people just aren't aware of what's available out there. So we're here to be the awareness folks, and to let industry know, specifically tourism, that these programs are available on the provincial and federal government level. So with that, we are going to record this session today. It will be available on the website, and all of the programs that we talk about as well. We're going to have links directly on our site that folks can click on and take them in and get into some further detail as to requirements and all that sort of thing. So as I said, we're here to give that overview, to make that awareness, and happy to take questions at the end of time permitting, of course, and if not after today's session, of course, I'm available. My contact information will be available as well. A lot of the programs are COVID related. However, we're going to start off with provincial side of things, and through Innovation PEI, they have some ongoing programs that were there before COVID was there, or was in our lives, and we're going to just highlight those to start off, and it will be, again, just a cap of what they have, and then we'll carry on from there. So we'll get this rolling here. Bear with me from the beginning. Here we go. As I said, these next three that we'll talk about are offered through Innovation PEI. There's a small business assistance, small business investment grant, and a web presence assistance. Small business assistant, who is eligible? Basically a business that is registered on PEI, is actively operating on PEI, and it is the prime source of income for the applicant, or has one employee with a minimum of 560 hours. So what that means is, let's say you have a small business, you have somebody running it for you, as long as they are employed 560 hours out of a year, that would make you eligible for the assistance in this program. What activities and costs are supported? So professional fees to a maximum of $2,500 in eligible costs for a business or marketing plan. So you'll see that term used a lot with provincial programs, eligible costs. What that means is what you've spent, or what you have spent, they will give you a portion of that back. So another program under this title is for professional fees to a maximum of 5,000 eligible costs. So where someone wants to make their business more efficient, get some professional advice on how can we make the internal workings of the business work better, operational efficiencies, things of that nature. And here are some examples, the projects lists that are there: communication tools, transactions, human resource planning, workflow studies, things of that nature. Also under this one, there is a small business, a new small business program. So and when they new means it's started operating within the last 12 months. And with that, they have, again, $5,000 in eligible costs to get a grant portion of that. And it's for marketing, promoting, whether it be online, newspaper, radio, that sort of thing. And what is the level of assistance? 50% of those eligible costs is what's there. So everything's relative, not huge money compared to some of the programs that are out there, but certainly money nonetheless. And in these times, we are happy to get whatever we can. And just to give an example, you spend $3,000 on a marketing plan or advertising or whatever it could be with those particular ones, $1,500 in assistance. So again, all relative, but not bad. Small business investment grant. Who is eligible? Again, parameters the same, must be registered, do business on PEI, located here, actively operating. Again, with the source, the primary source of income for the applicant, or having somebody employed 560 hours. Small business investment grant, what activities and costs are supported? Equipment, you're going to do leasehold improvements, new construction, things of that nature. What is the level of assistance here? So the payment will be based on 15% of actual eligible cost determined at the time of request of reimbursement, resulting in a maximum grant of $3,750. So what does that mean? And it has to be done within one fiscal year, any what you're doing. So as an example, you spend $10,000 on equipment or what have you, you would get reimbursed $1,500. Okay. Web presence assistance. So this one is basically, there's two tiers to it. One, if you don't have an existing website, or you want to upgrade an existing website, okay? And what activities and costs are supported? So under this, registration of a domain name, design, development, and hosting of a website, other functions that would improve the user experience, effectiveness of the website. Social media and online advertising to support the launch of the new website may be eligible if requested in the application. So the level of assistance here, what they call tier 1, 50% eligible cost to a maximum contribution here of $1,000. So that would mean spend $2,000, get $1,000 back. The tier, and that is with a non-e-commerce site. The tier 2 portion of it is an e-commerce site for business that does not have an existing website, or website does not have e-commerce. So in other words, you've been operating. Now with COVID times, we'll say as an example, you'd like to be able to add that e-commerce to your website. That one is a little bit more money, up to $2,500 there. So as an example, $5,000 with $2,500 in assistance. Okay. So those last three that we went over, and sometimes I get talking a little fast, I do apologize, but just to remind everybody, we will have all of these on our website after the session today. And those were all under the Innovation PEI department, okay? So Tourism Activation Grant. So this is one that has just, it started in April 6th, I think, is when they opened it up. This activation grant provides assistance $2,500 to $50,000. It is administered through the CBDCs of the province, East, West, and Central. The activation grant is budgeted, and there was $3 million put into the fund. And as of last Friday, I do know that around 1.2 million of it was used. That number obviously would be higher since then. 200 at that time, 257 applications with 95% of them approved. So this has been a good program with the amount of activity and people that have been taking advantage of it. The eligibility of PEI tourism business based on the criteria consistent with tourism interest relief program, which that's been a program ongoing and we'll get to on the next slide. In this program, there must be a 30% decrease in related revenues, and they're using 2019 as the base there. Also, the business must have gross revenue in 2019 of at least $25,000. People who would fall under this accommodation operators, anybody in the tourist industry, but anybody who is in accommodations must have more than one rental unit. Eligible expenses, new product development, experiential development, routine maintenance, technology improvements, if you're in a cottage business, furnishings, that sort of thing. And here's the formula. So when this program came out, there was a little bit of confusion on what was available as far as the funding goes. Now, again, here's that terminology we heard earlier, eligible expenses, 50% of eligible expenses. So where the numbers come from, they take 4% of your gross revenue from 2019. So what that means, if you, I'll use $100,000 as round numbers just for easy math. So 4% of 100,000 would be $4,000. And that means that basically that's your eligible expenses. So if you spend $4,000, you are eligible to get $2,000 back. Now the program has a minimum of $2,500, and there is some caveats to that where they have said, well, if you spend some more and you're in that $25,000 gross revenue to $125,000 gross revenue, they will allow you to spend a little extra to get that minimum contribution of $2,500. The grant goes up to a maximum of $50,000, which means a business that would be operating gross revenue somewhere in the range of $2.5 million. And here is what we were just talking about, 25,000 up to the 125 can still take advantage of that lower end, the 2,500. And yeah, I use an example here of 200,000. If you had a $200,000 in revenue, you have your eligible expenses are $8,000, potentially a grant of $4,000. Yeah, so the Tourism Interest Relief Program, it is an ongoing program. It started last year. They have anybody that has loans, term loans, mortgages, anything of that nature, you are able to access this program, and they will pay your interest for you. So the parameters are laid out here. It's 100% of the interest on debt to a maximum of $250, and then they do 50% of once you've maxed out at $250 up to $700,000. So it's a big program. There is some details in that. This is one of those ones where you have to actually do it month over month and compare your month over month, and there's paperwork to do on that each month. So yeah, so that one is a good one. It's ongoing, and it's starts, you're getting ahead here. That program will end September 30th. Under Cultural Festival and Venue Program, there is one Community Cultural Festivals and Events Funding Program. There's $2,500 eligible. I haven't got a lot of detail on this. It does end tomorrow. I'm going to have the contact person here at the bottom of the screen, that anybody with any of these programs here, the Acadian and Francophone Cultural Tourism and the COVID-19 operational, Shannon Pratt is the person that looks after this with the province, and her contact information is here and will be available at the end of the session as well. And she is the one that looks after that. Tourism Festival Funding Program. This is another one with that is under the province. Trent Burt is this is part of his portfolio. We'll see his information come up here. But any festival or event that is going to attract people here. Unfortunately, the times we're in right now, it is interesting. When that will start is a good question, but they're happy to talk to get things rolling for when things do open up. There's also a hosting grant available that falls under Trent's portfolio, and his information will come up. And there's about $5,000 in funding there for anybody that's hosting a conference or event of some sort. Last one under the province is the Tourism Festival Funding Program. And it is one that is for Tourism Innovation Fund. It is for bigger events. You know, we're talking 5,000 persons on a daily basis attraction. So it seems like we're a long way from that. But again, they're happy to talk and happy to, you know, look towards the future to see what can be done and to start that planning for sure. Brody O'Keefe is the person that manages that, and his information again is part of our at the bottom of the page here, part of this program under the Tourism PEI. Okay, so that is the portion of what the province has to offer. I'm going to move over to the federal government, and we're going to talk about the Canada Emergency Business Account. CEBA is the short term for it. I'm just trying to stop this page here. And so, yeah, this is an easy program. One of the best programs I've seen out there to try and get money into people's pockets right away. It's a federal program. It's the $40,000. I'm sure lots have seen that basically you apply through your financial institution. You are basically able to just one sec. Corinne, are you able to control that for a second? It's popping ahead on me here.
If I do, I have to share my screen, I think. So.
Okay, it's on the roll here on me by mistake. I'm just going to
You exit out of it and maybe just try to jump back in.
I'll just pause this for a second here. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. We're just it's popping, going too fast here for me. I can talk fast, but not quite that fast. And technology is generally not my friend, so.
Try exiting out of the PowerPoint there, Kirk, and then just starting from the slide you want.
Yeah, I'll just one sec here. Just bear with me here one sec.
Do you want me to try sharing it from my side?
Yeah, maybe you will.
Okay.
It's just going a little too fast there.
Which slide? Where are we at here?
Just go down to that CEWS one.
I'm getting close. This one? Can you see it? Oh, hang on 1 second. I had the wrong one open.
There, that's the one we're looking for.
Okay. Oops.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. So yeah, sorry about that, folks. So I want to spend a little bit of time on this one because it's a good one. We are with this program. It has been extended to June 30th. Originally, it had been just till March 30th. Zero interest on this until December 31st, 2022. No principal repayments until December 31st, 2022. And there's basically, with the whole program, the $60,000, there's $20,000 in free money there. Two pieces to it. You apply for the 41st, again, through your financial institution. And then from there, you then apply for the second portion of it, which is the 20,000. See, that's popping ahead again on us here, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not sure how the transitions were set.
Yeah, just started doing it for some reason. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so you apply for the 41st. If you pay that money back by December 31st, 2022, you only have to pay back $30,000. The second piece is even a better formula where you get 20,000 and that will have a repayable of only 10,000. And again, the deadlines on those are December 31st, 2022 to take full advantage of the grant money. What happens from there is they will set you up on a payment plan, depending on how much you've paid back, set up the terms at an interest rate of 5%. So still good interest rates. It's there for people to use. If you pay it back, it's really one of the best programs out there. Very simple in its implementation. The application is right on your website. Click on there, and then the money will get inserted automatically into your right into your business account, and you can do with it what you want. There's no parameters on how you use the money or do receipts, anything like that. You can use it for payroll. You can use it for buying equipment, whatever you want to use it for. And it's yeah, one of probably the best programs next to the wage subsidy that's out there for the small business operator who needs it, and especially in our tourism, we need it. So yeah, so that's that one there. I will try to move this ahead to the next one. The Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy. Basically, the title is very self-explanatory. It's to help people out with their rent and or mortgage payments. I won't get into the particular details. If you go onto the government websites, they have it very much go into detail as to how you qualify, how you do the calculations, all that sort of thing. But it's a good program. It's one that has to be done month over month, where you submit paperwork month over month, comparing it to your financials in, again, the benchmark of 2019. It's the parameters, as you see here, are 75,000 per location per period, and 30,000 to, if you have multiple locations, $300,000. So yeah, great program. I know lots of companies and organizations that are using it, and it helps the bottom line. It helps the pain of paying your full rent and paying your full mortgage payment. And as long as you can have a payroll account, a lot of this is done through your CRA account online, and it can be complicated. A lot of companies are using their accounting, whoever their accountants are to do it. It can be done. They do the calculation. They have formulas that you can use the calculation as an individual operator. Yeah, again, good money. It's there to be used, and hopefully with where things are going, we're hoping by this time next year nobody will have to be using any of these programs, but it is a good one, and we hope that this will help folks get back on their feet. If we can move that along, Corinne, to the next slide. So the wage subsidy, I'm sure most have heard of the wage subsidy. It's something I've taken advantage of in my business. Again, it's CEWS is the acronym. Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy helps you with payroll. So currently that is up to a maximum per employee of, I believe the calculation is $11.29 per week gross earnings. For the hardest hit folks, they will subsidize you up to 75%, which is really good. That program is staying in place currently until, as it sits now, currently until June. There has been some, how should we put it, changes that are going to be coming in the summertime. But for right now, this is a program administered again through the federal government. You can do it through your CRA account, your business account, online. The form is fairly simple. They have a calculator there to figure out what you are eligible for. Hardest hit up to 75%, and then it's a degrading scale after that. If you are less than 50%, you get X percentage of the wage granted back to you. It's done on a monthly basis, so that's it's not done bi-weekly or according to payroll. They have their set terms, and you would submit each month based on the payroll that you have paid out. So you have to pay the folks first or yourself before you get that reimbursement back. But again, one of the single best programs they've had to help folks get through these times in COVID. So yeah, you also can do this retroactively, meaning you can go back 180 days from now. So all of a sudden, if you've just heard about this CEWS program now and you've been paying folks all along and your business is down, you can go back, I think it's September, end of September, October, that period that's there, period 9 maybe, it might be, I forget off the top of my head. But you can go back and retroactively get reimbursed for those months based on the calculations and the formulas as to what you would receive. So yeah, with these criteria, businesses are eligible for the wage subsidy. You have to have a CRA business account. Obviously, employees have to be on a payroll and someone that you can show that would have a T4. So. And the revenue loss is within each claim period. So you're always comparing your last period to period in 2019 comparable. So if you're down, you're eligible for money. If you're not, this is not the program for you, obviously, and that's not what it's there for. If your business is up or even, then that's good. So yeah, so we are. If I can get you to move on to the next slide there, Corinne, that would be great. So HASCAP, this is essentially after you've applied for everything else. The acronym almost sounds hazardous in its nature, but if you've applied for everything else, you've had the CEWS, you've had the rent subsidy, you've taken advantage of the wage subsidy. This is a loans program available to folks. It's guaranteed by the government. It's done and administered through financial institutions, whatever financial institution you would be dealing with. and it's a loan program where they give good loan rates. Terms are very flexible, in some cases out to 10 years. The loans will range from 25,000 up to $1 million, with low interest and, as I said, good terms up to 10 years. So it's that last step that says, okay, I can see the finish line, but I need a little more cash flow. This is one of these programs that are available to folks. I say program, it's a loan program, but it is available nonetheless with more flexible terms, is my understanding. So it's yeah, so that's kind of the last caption we have. Back to the wage subsidy a little bit. I'm just going to ad lib here a little bit, folks, in the wage subsidy and where it's at. We are, as I mentioned, there is some changes coming to this wage subsidy, and a lot of folks have, when it first came out, you know, everybody was just wanting the extension. Can we get this moved beyond June? And that's, they did that. And that was kind of the headlines that grabbed everybody's attention, and everybody went, whew, great, wage subsidy is going to be here until September. There's been some work done with some folks, and they've added another piece to this, and we're not putting it in this presentation formally because there could be some changes to it, but they've added another piece that's called the Canada Recovery Hiring Program. And again, we're not, the parameters of it are where it was first presented seem to be, it would add to the CEWS program and get you to where you have been and been taking advantage of for the past year, we'll say. With some calculations that have been done, it seems like that's not the case, and that the amount that could be accessed is going to be a little bit less than what historically we've had over the last year or so. We're going to do kind of a wait and see on that. It's next 15 days will tell the tale. The changes to the CEWS program and this Canada Recovery Hiring Program has to go and be voted on through Parliament. So it's not in stone yet, but we've got lots of people that are working on it to say we kind of need some changes on it. So yeah. One last thing I might add is if folks are looking for, I've talked to the credit union, particularly in regards to that last caption we had, the HASCAP program. And the credit union, I was talking to one of the commercial officers there, they have programs available even outside HASCAP. And they said in some cases, they're able to even do better rates than what that program is suggesting. So worth a chat with the folks there. And also in the rural areas, I'd like to say, outside of the TAG program, which was the last program that CBDCs were administering on behalf of the province, they are available there as well, as they're that rural small business development bank, if you will. They're there to help folks in the rural areas. They're very approachable, and their terms are more flexible, let's say, than your traditional large banks. And so it's just something to consider if you're looking at needing to get some loans and you've taken advantage of everything else, but still need some extra cash. Those couple are some good options to have a look at that have a little more flexibility for the small operator. That's kind of come to the end of what we had listed here. Was there many questions, Corinne, that popped up? Anything that we can answer? If we can't get an answer, we're happy to find out the answers and get back to folks for sure.
There was one question just around the RRF and whether or not it's still available for industry. Yeah,
well, it currently not. We're waiting to hear back on that. My understanding is there is a pool of money there. We're hoping it comes back. It was a good one. It covered a lot of areas, small business, as well as nonprofits. And I don't know if you've heard of anything, Corinne, on it as of recent times in the last couple of days, but that's the last I heard. It was kind of a wait and see over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think, I mean, in regards to the federal budget being tabled, obviously there were some changes that Kirk addressed, one being the wage subsidy and the declining rates that would begin this summer. For those who maybe haven't seen it from TIAPEI, we are advocating and lobbying government to have those rates remain in their current state, given that we're looking at another similar season to last year with border restrictions. So we are working with our counterparts throughout Atlantic Canada and through TIAC and across Canada to continue to lobby for those rates to stay in place. The Canada Recovery Hiring Program, again, we're hoping we'll get a little more detail on that. We've had a number of conversations with our local MPs here just on what that program means. And I think there was, I'll say, a lack of information when the federal budget first came out. So I think as those move through the House of Commons and they are passed, we will reach out to industry again with what the clear details of each of those programs and the changes are.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it was in the best interest to add another program at this point in time for folks. To complicate the program, to complicate the wage subsidy with another additional program to try and navigate and figure out, probably timing not great on that, and we're not quite sure what the reasoning was, but I guess to spin a positive, there still will be wage subsidy ongoing into September, 1st of October as it sits right now. And I think there has been some lobbying as well across the country to even have it extended to the end of the year. So, but that'll be a wait and see, obviously, at that point. But yeah.
There's a question in the chat. Kirk, are you reading that there?
Yeah, Jackie Bear. It's the best funding small business. And was that the small business only in their second year of business?
Yeah.
Okay. The one I point everybody to, and second year of business, I'm assuming maybe they started in 2020 from that. But that CEWS account is the federal one is great. With that free money that's there, and then terms after that, and there's no having to put in receipts, having to tell what you're doing with the money. It is, yeah, and with the free portion of it, the 20,000 of free money, you know, and a 40 repayable, that is one of the best ones. And I can't emphasize how simple it is, and which is surprising how simple it is to get that money. But it goes in, you have a business account, it's there. The money within a week is in your account to help you with whatever you need help with. So that would be if I had to recommend anything, that if you need money right away and quickly and without stipulation, that is probably the single best one that's available. Yeah.
Are there any other comments or questions from anyone? It's a quiet bunch.
There. And I do apologize for those technical difficulties earlier. I think what will happen going forward, this isn't the first one that we'll do. And as we get information going forward on any program changes, anything that's new that comes out, I think we will be definitely doing that again. And the uptick we had today was great. I think there was 100 people that signed up. So yeah, there's obviously people wanting to know about this, what's available, and get the information, and that's what we're here for. So outside of the technology glitches there, we're available to take any calls anytime, emails. I think Corinne had put up my my phone number and email address there. So yeah, if there's anything anybody needs, call anytime. I'm happy to chat.
There was one other question there, just on the CEWS application that is through the banks.
Is it through the banks? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is through your financial institution. Most times if you go under either like small business tab and under there or under programs, it's one of the first ones that will pop up, small business help, anything along that line. All of the major financial institutions do have it, your Royal, Scotiabank, TD Bank, it's all there. And in the application, you don't even talk to anybody. The application is right on there, step by step. It will come back and say, we're working on your file. What will happen from there is they'll say you're approved. A line will show up. You have to apply for the 40,000 first. A line will show up. I know with the Scotiabank, it shows up as a business visa, 40,000, and then you don't even do anything, and the money will get transferred directly into your business account, again, to use it as you like. It sits there interest-free until December 31st, 2022. And if you pay it all, if you pay 30,000 back, again, of the 40 as an example, loan's gone, the $10,000 was free, and you're all set. If you can't pay it all back, the
There is
terms.
another question there. If you are a seasonal, can you get the interest relief for the winter months?
Great question. I believe the interest relief is based on, yeah, no, it's just whatever you're paying out. If you're paying monthly payments, rent and or mortgage, it's available. Yeah. But you know something, I am going to follow up on that because it's, yeah. But my understanding is, yes, it is, but we can get 100% on that for sure.
And then Krista asked, is there a minimum annual revenue to qualify for CEWS? And Jackie actually put that there are thresholds for the CEWS that excludes a business that didn't meet the expected revenue requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you have detail on that.
That was Jackie. Are you back on that? They initially, I know they initially had a minimum payroll that they were looking for, but I think that has been waived, and there was a change in that recently. But I will look into that. That was Jackie Herbert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, if you have questions that maybe pop up after this session today, please feel free to reach out to Kirk or the TIAPEI office. The email, I think, is in the chat there, as well as our direct phone number. So we're here. We will be posting the recording of this along with the links on our website. If there's any other questions, I'm not sure if anyone has anything else.
I'll get back to Jackie on that for sure, and then we'll post the answer with those minimums there. A lot of these things are organic, I guess. There are changes that are happening all the time. So and listen, if anybody knows of anything that we haven't mentioned here today, by all means, let me know, because we're here to get the information out to everybody, and that's the idea, for people to know about the programs, the parameters around the programs, who qualify. We don't get into anybody's personal issues, obviously, or where they're at, but we're here to make you aware. And if there's something we've missed here, then and I've missed, then by all means let me know, and we'll make sure we get it out there so people will, everybody else will know.
Well, that's great. I think we can wrap this up, and we appreciate you all taking the time today, and don't be a stranger.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you all.